Second graders, you are really making progress on your bug report. If you're like me, I like to make lists of what I have to do, mostly because it's really fun to check things off the list. So if you have been keeping up and doing what you're supposed to do each day, you have already chosen your insect. You have done your title page. Maybe it's not totally colored yet, but you have most of that done. You found your sources that you are using to write your notes. You did your habitat notes. You did your habitat paragraph. You've been working on your glossary. Now, I'm not going to make a check there because you're not really done with your glossary until you're all done with all your paragraphs, because you're probably going to put in your glossary 1 or 2 words from each of your paragraphs. So I just put an arrow there to remind us that that's something that we're going to keep working on until the end. You should also have a picture of your habitat with the caption done. You are going to start today your diet notes, and then we'll do a diet paragraph also today. So this is with me, this is with Mrs. B, and then you will do your description notes with me, your description paragraph with Mrs. B, and you're going to do a diagram of your insect. And then in the end, remember when I did a video showing my finished report and I was dressed up in a costume of my butterfly? Well, you are going to do your video also, and that is going to be due on Thursday. Maybe I'll just write it right over here. Thursday, May 28th. Okay? So that's next week. Your video with your finished report will be sent to your teacher on Thursday, May 28th. In that video, you should be in costume, or maybe you will find a real insect, your insect. All right? And maybe you'll have them in a jar to show us. Or maybe you want to write a poem about your insect, or a song, and you can sing it for us about your insect. Or maybe you want to make a model of your insect. Make one using Play-Doh or rocks or something like that. I'm going to show you some ideas in Friday Fun. And I left some space there because we might think of something else. One of you might think of something, and you can send me a message about it, and I'll write it on the list, okay? Some other fun idea that you could do on your video. But today, I don't want to take any more time with that because we have some important work to do. We need to do our diet notes. So I'll show you the ones that I did for my morning cloak butterfly. I found out that they like to eat young leaves, not old dried up ones, I guess. Just young leaves. They like oak tree sap. They walk down the trunk to the sap and feed head down. So that'd be like if you had food on the floor and you sat in your chair and put your head down on the floor and ate. It's kind of silly and funny to think about, isn't it? My morning cloak butterflies also like rotting fruit. Gross, we usually want to throw that out, don't we? And sometimes they eat flower nectar. Now, as I was saying those, I kind of said that one into a sentence, didn't I? But remember, when you write your notes, you just write the important words. So you see, I didn't write, they like to eat young leaves. They also eat oak tree sap. I didn't write all those extra words. I just wrote young leaves, oak tree sap. Now, let's see if you can figure out what you should write for a note about the gnat. This is in my book. Remember my book called Bugs, and some of you are borrowing pages out of that. Let's look at what the gnat eats. This talks about what he looks like and his babies and stuff, her babies. But look at this sentence. They feed on small roots and root hairs. Now, if I was writing a report on gnats, what would I write for my note? Would I write, they feed on small roots and root hairs? No, I hope you said no. What are the important words? I'm going to go along. You say yes or no. I hope you said no. Yes? No. Yes? No. Yes? Yes! So on our note, we would write small, what did it say? Small roots. And what else? Root hairs. I'm going to just do one of these little things like a plus sign. Small roots, root hairs. You know what that probably means? You might want to look it up, but let's pretend I'm drawing a root. And sometimes there's little things along the sides. Those are probably what the little hairs are. I didn't actually look it up, but you could. Remember, I had to look up something in my notes when I read about my mourning cloak butterflies live in the riparian areas. I had to look that word up. I didn't know what it meant. How about the butterfly? Look at this. It talks about the butterfly. Starts life as a small egg on a leaf. Oh my goodness, Gordy heard something. And then it hatches as a caterpillar. Is any of that about diet, what it eats? No, but look at this. The caterpillar is an eating machine. It gobbles up whole leaves. Okay, what should I write? Do any of you think I should write eating machine? I actually could. Or I could just say gobbles whole leaves. So it doesn't take just little bites, right? Now, of course, I wouldn't be on the same paper with, this was about gnats, but I just want to show you some different ideas. Gobbles whole leaves. But the reason I wanted to show you the butterfly is because it talks about when he's just a little caterpillar here, but then as an adult butterfly, some are as tiny as 1/8 of an inch long, others grow as wide as 12 inches. So now it's talking about after it's come out of its cocoon and everything. Look what it says here. Butterflies use their tube-like mouths to suck nectar from flowers. Do we need to write butterflies? No, because if you're doing a report on butterflies, you already know that's what you're talking about. Use? No. There? No. Tube-like? Yes. Tube-like mouths. So we would write in our notes. Tube-like mouths. To what? To suck nectar. Do I write to? No. I just do something like that. Suck nectar. And then it said from flowers. You know what? If I was doing this, I would just do this. Because it's even faster than writing out the word flowers. And so you know the nectar comes from flowers. So when you go back to that to write your sentence, you're going to remember they suck the nectar from flowers, right? I think so. I don't think you have to write all of that out. Now, if you are using some of my cards, I noticed on the back of Black Widow Spider, look at, that's all it says for diet. Insects caught in web. That's what it eats. You can't make a whole paragraph out of insects caught in web, can you? So you might have to look up what are some of the insects that he might eat in a web. You might have to read a little bit about how they build their web and add that to your diet paragraph. Because remember, you have to have at least 3 facts and 3 sentences in your paragraph. So if you're finding on one of your sources just a little tiny bit, that means you're going to have to read somewhere else and find some more information. Look at this. Tarantula. Are any of you doing the tarantula? The diet: insects and other bugs. Larger species eat lizards, birds, and mice. So you might find out that your insects can be very small. If they're very small, they're probably going to eat something different than the bigger ones. So tarantulas, let's see what their body size can be. 1.5 to 4 inches. Leg span 3 to 12 inches. So they really can be much different sizes. And those little 3-inch ones, which are about 3 inches, is about 1, 2, 3. It's about that big, are going to be eat much smaller things than an insect that is a spider that is as wide as my paper. Oh my goodness, can you imagine that? My paper is 11 inches wide. So a tarantula could be that big. He's going to eat much bigger things. So depending on your insect, you will have very different diet notes than someone else might have. Okay? Work hard. Get your notes done. Make sure you have at least 3 facts. And then Mrs. B is going to help you write the paragraph today. All right. Have a good day, everybody.